Hey man, say man, talk truth to me. It's real talk in real time. I need y'all to like, comment, share, and subscribe to the video. Y'all already know. Y'all need y'all to go below, and comment. Let me know y'all thoughts on what's going on. And y'all already know we're gonna get into it, because that's what we do over here.
What did South Africa do to make Trump so angry? What actually happened? Because you see, a whole lot of blogs are not really giving the backstory. So I'm going to give you the backstory to explain it to you. Now, in South Africa, during colonial rule and under apartheid, which lasted from 1948 to 1994, the government forcefully removed black South Africans from their land and pushed them into designated areas called homelands or townships, right? To put this in perspective, by the time apartheid ended in 1994, white South Africans, who made up less than 10% of the population, owned around 87% of the land. The remaining 90% of the population, mostly black South Africans, were crammed into tiny portions of land. But it wasn't just about land, it was systematic economic exclusion. And black South Africans were barred from owning land in certain areas. They couldn't access the same education, jobs, or financial opportunities as white South Africans. Their movement was even restricted under pass laws, which meant they needed permission to travel or to work in certain areas. So when apartheid officially ended in 1994, the new government led by Nelson Mandela inherited a country where land ownership, wealth, and opportunity were still massively skewed in favor of the white minority. Now, I know you might ask, and you might be wondering, why didn't the new South African government just take the land back and redistribute it? It wasn't that simple, right? When Nelson Mandela and the African National Congress, that is ANC, took power, they had to renegotiate a peaceful transition to democracy. Now, part of that deal meant they couldn't just seize land from white owners without compensation. Instead, they introduced a willing buyer, willing seller approach where the government would buy land from white owners and redistribute it. But there was a problem, right? Most white landowners didn't want to sell. So fast forward almost 30 years later, and the land inequality is still very real. A 2017 land audit showed that white South Africans, who make up about 7% of the population, still own around 70% of the land. Now, fast forward to now. To address this issue, South Africa just passed the Expropriation Act, which allows the government to take land in certain cases without compensation. Now, the idea is to fix the historic land imbalance, but not just randomly seize land, right? The law says land can be expropriated if it's unused or abandoned, if it's needed for public interest projects, or if it's being redistributed to correct past injustices. So, where does Trump come in all of this? Well, Trump has said that South Africa is treating certain classes of people very badly, in his words, and he's cutting US funding until there's an investigation. But here's the thing, Trump's views seem heavily influenced by Elon Musk. Elon Musk was born in South Africa, and he's been saying for years that the government is targeting white farmers and even called it a genocide. Now, let's be clear. There is no evidence of any genocide happening in South Africa. Yes, crime is high, and yes, farmers, both black and white, have been victims of violent attacks. But experts agree that this is part of South Africa's larger crime problem. It's not some targeted campaign against white people. But Elon Musk's misleading claims have fueled this narrative, and Trump has clearly bought into it. And now South Africa is at risk of losing millions of dollars in US aid, most of which goes towards HIV/AIDS programs that help millions of people. Now, beyond the AIDS cuts, South Africa is also worried that Trump might kick them out of the AGOA, which is a trade agreement that gives South African products tariff-free access to US markets. Now, if that happens, it could seriously hurt South Africa's economy. So, a quick.
You know, man, oh man, that's crazy. You know, it's crazy or whatever, man. I never knew anything about apartheid over there in Africa. I never knew, man, a lot of the history, man, that went on over in Africa. Just like, you know, it's crazy that, you know, the African brothers and sisters over there on the African continent don't really know the history over here in America. And on the flip side, the American Africans don't know the history that was being taking place over there with y'all simultaneously as was going on with us. You know, as we was going through what we was going through over in America, through the civil rights reconstruction, through all the civil rights era, through the just everything, the black codes, just the Jim Crow laws, just everything that Black America was going through at the same time. Over there in Africa on the diaspora, they was going through the same thing. Man, you know, and then, you know, so it kind of, you know, blow me, man, you know, hearing about apartheid, man. How in the world, you know, this don't even make sense. This is a travesty. This is bad. The tragedy that didn't happen over there in South Africa with apartheid, well, you know, at one point in time, it was against the law for you to travel from a place to a place for people like us to be able to go from city to city to talk to each other. It was a law against that, just like black codes, just like all that over here in America. Same type of systems was set up over there. The apartheid, y'all took them and moved them to a certain area. That's crazy to me, man. You know, that's crazy to me. You know, that's real crazy. You know, that's wow. You know, white South Africans own or make up 7% of South Africa, but own over 70% of the land that's over there in South Africa. They moved all the black South Africans to a certain side and put all of them in the same place, AKA the projects over here in America. Almost the same type of system. That's why I told you the American playbook. It's the American playbook. Everybody picked up the American playbook. So the system that's here is over there, and the system that's over there is over here. Hey, when we get together, man, when we stick together, it's when we're gonna be better. Everybody stay tuned, stay light. You already know, like I always say, man, you know, the revolution will be televised. Kendrick Lamar was on point with that. Stay tuned.